If I had been asked about God in 1973, I probably would have hemmed and hawed and talked in puzzling circles. For to me, God was a living concept, very much unable to be expressed in words, something rather to be lived. Most of my time in the Army, I was in crisis, mostly for what I was being taught, but also from the ready availability of hard drugs and their accepted use. I was stationed in Panama for most of 1974 and became far too familiar with pharmaceutical solutions. Methamphetamine to make it through a 24-hour guard shift or a forced speed march, downers to finally get some sleep, and so much cocaine I feared for my life. So I tried to get a compassionate reassignment to the United States, but was denied. I slipped more fully into the use and abuse cycle until finally becoming suicidal. I not only despised who I'd become, but lost all hope for change. So I sat down and wrote a goodbye letter to my parents, which I put in my desk. Then I took an intentional overdose of Doradin, a heavy hypnotic tranquilizer, chasing it with beer until the whole bottle was gone. I ended up with 10.6 milligrams in my bloodstream, where 4.2 could be fatal. And then I simply went to bed, and I thought, this is it. But some powers of the universe wanted me to survive. I ended up in a hospital, dead on arrival, and was actually being wheeled to the morgue when a young doctor named Stephen Brown said, "Bring him in here for a post-mortem." When he found only beta brainwaves, they pushed the panic button and shocked me back to life. Well, I was breathing and my heart still beating, but I was comatose for 4 days. And when I finally came around, my father, Frank, was there. My first coherent thought was, either he's in Panama or I'm in Michigan. He, being a true force of nature, wanting me out of the Army and Panama and back in the USA, worked his way up my chain of command all the way to Brigadier General and got us passage on a medical plane to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where I would be placed on an Army psychiatric ward for 3 months. Eventually, when I could talk again, I puzzled at my survival. My dad arranged a phone call to our old American Baptist family friend, Reverend Robert Wallace, out here in Redlands, California. Bob told me in no uncertain terms that God was not finished with me yet, that I'd have a lot of hard work ahead, but rest in the knowledge that God was holding me in her hands. My dad insisted on accompanying me to Kentucky on the military transport that had been arranged. During my time on the ward, I saw lots of pain and pathos and was pleased to bring my empathy and intelligence into this situation. My sense of humor seemed to reemerge, and some spark my minister had instilled in me long ago banked and glowed like coals until I actually recognized myself again. I was released from the Army on an honorable discharge under medical conditions, and that was that. Except now I could use my GI Bill to study theater arts, this time in the Midwest. And the subsequent 45 years as Poindexter the Clown has proven my minister friend right. I had boatloads more to learn and love to share. So you ask me about God? To me, God is whenever a child giggles with glee. I see God in trees and flowers and rainbows and clouds. But the thing I'd forgotten in Panama, and would try never to forget again, is that God lives in us all, each of us and all of us. And if you ever find yourself so down and out you think you want to end it all, please don't. Instead, connect with our church here and we will find you help. This church is here for you and I, and our hopes and beliefs and faith are the engines that keep us running. Blessings.